right, let's dive in, shall we? Today, today we're going deep on one of those stories that's, well, it's epic and mysterious all at the same time. The parting of the Red Sea.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen it, right?
Yeah.
The water splitting, the Israelites escaping, powerful imagery.
It is. It is.
But we're going beyond just the visuals. We're exploring the spiritual meaning, the science, trying to unpack how this seemingly impossible event, well, happened.
It's amazing, really, how this one story, this one event, can be viewed from so many different perspectives. You've got the history, the geography, sure, but also the symbolism, the spiritual meaning, especially for Jewish and Christian traditions. It's really quite fascinating.
Okay, so let's back up for a sec. We're in the book of Exodus, right? Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt, and then boom,
Yeah.
the Red Sea, massive wall of water. And oh yeah, the Egyptian army is right behind them.
Yeah, talk about pressure.
No kidding.
It's that tension, that feeling of imminent danger that really gives the story its power. It's not just an escape, it's liberation. It's faith triumphing over impossible odds. You know, for Jewish tradition, the parting of the Red Sea, it's a defining moment. It shows God's protection for his chosen people.
Yeah.
It becomes a cornerstone of their faith, a story that gets passed down generation to generation, reinforcing their identity and their belief in divine intervention. It's powerful stuff.
So it's more than just a cool story. It holds a lot of theological weight.
Absolutely.
But, okay, here's the thing. The science. How could a sea actually part like that? Like, is there a scientific explanation, natural phenomena maybe?
Now we're getting to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Researchers have a few ideas. One theory, it involves extreme weather. Imagine a hurricane, but like a mega hurricane, one that could actually reshape coastlines. Some researchers think a storm like that could have temporarily pushed the water back, creating a window for the Israelites to cross.
Well, okay, that's intense.
Yeah.
Any other theories? Maybe a little less catastrophic?
Well, there is one, and it's pretty intriguing. It's called wind set-down. It's a little complex, but basically, imagine a really strong wind blowing across the water for a long time, almost like a giant hand pushing the surface. Under the right conditions, that wind can push water away from the shore, creating a path, like a path you could walk across. But for this to happen, you need a very specific set of circumstances, like the shape of the coastline matters, and the wind strength, the direction, even the tides, all of it plays a role.
So you're saying wind, if the conditions were just right, could have created a safe passage through the sea?
It's possible. That's what researchers are looking into. They've studied the Red Sea's geography, its shape, how it interacts with wind patterns, and they've dug into historical weather data, to see if a wind set-down event, one that big, could have happened.
Wow.
Some studies then suggest that if you had strong winds blowing from the east for a long time, plus a really low tide, well, maybe, just maybe, that could have pushed the water back enough to create a temporary land bridge.
That's incredible. So on one hand, we've got this story of faith, divine power, and on the other hand, we have these scientific explanations, and yeah, they need very specific conditions, but they aren't totally impossible. It's like almost like those two perspectives, the faith and the science. They're kind of coming together, offering different ways to understand this one massive event.
That's what makes this so interesting. It's not about, diminishing the spiritual side or trying to prove or disprove anyone's beliefs. It's about exploring all the layers of understanding that this event offers. For some, it's about divine intervention, the power of faith. But for others, it's about nature, its incredible forces, and how it can shape our world in amazing ways.
It really is amazing to think about, like, the power of nature, how it can create these events that, seem almost miraculous.
Yeah.
But I think we also need to think about the human side of this story. I mean, what if you were standing there, one of those Israelites on the shore, watching the water recede? How would you feel?
That's a really good question, It gets at why this story still means so much to us even today. Imagine the terror they must have felt, trapped between the sea and the Egyptian army.
Oh, yeah.
And then this impossible thing happens right in front of them. I mean, it would have been awe-inspiring. Like a total shift in how they saw the world. Mm-hmm. And it would have solidified their faith more than any teaching could, I think.
I can only imagine. I mean, to see something like that, defying logic, breaking the laws of nature, it's got to be a profound experience, right?
Yeah.
It makes you think maybe these encounters with the unexplainable, maybe that's what strengthens faith,
And this experience, it wasn't just escaping danger, it was about becoming a people. Remember, the Israelites, they'd been enslaved for generations. They were vulnerable, tired, facing an unknown future. But then the water recedes. It's like a path to freedom opens up. It's almost like a rebirth for all of them. And that solidified their belief in Moses as their leader, in God as their protector, and in themselves as a people meant for something more. It's a powerful idea.
It's like this visual metaphor, right? Overcoming the impossible. Not just parting the waters of the sea, but the waters of doubt, fear, oppression. It's believing that even when there's no hope, there's still a way forward.
Yeah, exactly. That's why this story, it keeps resonating across cultures, across time. It's a human experience. We all have those struggles. Wanting freedom, searching for meaning, needing to believe in something bigger than ourselves, whether the Red Sea parting was a divine act or just an amazing natural phenomenon, the message is the same. Hope can beat adversity, and sometimes the impossible, well, it becomes possible.
And it reminds us that there are different ways to understand the world. Some people, they find comfort in faith, in believing in a higher power guiding our lives. Others find it in the natural world, in science and observation, and some find it in both, which is okay too.
Yeah, it's okay to have multiple perspectives. What matters is approaching these stories with curiosity, a willingness to explore, to understand that how we see the past, it changes, it evolves.
So maybe, instead of getting stuck on whether it was a miracle or a natural event, the real takeaway is that it was a turning point. It shaped how we understand faith, resilience, the power of these stories.
Absolutely. And it shows how these ancient stories, they still matter today. They make us ask, what are the Red Seas in our own lives? The obstacles that seem impossible to overcome? And what will it take for us to believe, to trust, to take that leap of faith and see those waters part for us?
You know, it's kind of wild how this one story, the parting of the Red Sea, it's created so much discussion, debate, even after all this time. It shows how these events from thousands of years ago, they still have this power, to capture our imaginations and make us rethink what we thought we knew.
It really does. And it shows the power of stories, how they endure. This isn't just history. It's woven into culture's beliefs for centuries. And like we've been talking about, each generation, they find new meaning in it. They apply it to their own lives, their own struggles, their own victories. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. We've talked about the science, the history, what it means theologically, even the psychology of seeing something like that.
Yeah.
But for you, what's the most compelling thing about this story? What makes it different from all the other ancient stories that have, survived all this time?
I think for me, it's how the story works on both a literal and a metaphorical level. Like, on one hand, you have this dramatic event, the sea parting, and that leads to scientific questions, historical analysis, all that.
Right.
But then there's this other level. It goes beyond the physical world, becomes a powerful metaphor, overcoming obstacles, believing in the impossible, that kind of thing.
I see what you mean. It's like that image, the waters parting, it becomes this symbol, hope, resilience, faith strong enough to move mountains, or, well, a sea in this case.
Exactly, and that's why it resonates with so many people, no matter their background, their beliefs. It's that universal desire for liberation, transformation, those moments where, against all odds, we achieve something extraordinary. It speaks to us all.
It really does. So as we wrap up our deep dive here, what's the one thing you hope listeners will take away from all this?
I think more than anything, the parting of the Red Sea, whether it was a miracle from God or a rare event in nature, it shows the power of belief. It reminds us that sometimes we need to take that leap of faith, trust in something bigger than ourselves, believe that even when we're facing those impossible obstacles, there's still a way forward.
That's a great point. And for those listening, thinking about their own Red Seas, those moments when they need to, part the waters in their own lives, what's a final question, something to leave them thinking about?
How about this? If you could witness any event from history, something that would change how you see the world, what would it be? And how would that experience change you, your beliefs, your actions, how you live your life? Something to think about.
That's a great question. And hey, deep divers, remember, the journey doesn't stop here. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep into those things that spark your curiosity, make you challenge your own perspective. Until next time.